Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing over 100,000 subscribers. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here today on our show, Creating a World of Possibilities. This is a show where we highlight people from all over the world who are really change agents, people who are in leadership roles, motivating, inspiring, and mentoring. We have a very special guest with us today who is no stranger to the television platform and has had her own show for a very long time, and is somebody who you need to connect with, you need to get to know, because not only is she very active in television, we're going to talk about her show, which I think has a really great, very creative title, which is On the Sofa. She's an award-winning British talk show host, a TV producer, a motivational speaker, and a publisher. Let us welcome Esther Austin, joining us from London. Hello, hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, or maybe good morning.
That's right. We people from all over the world. And thank you for finding us, and thank you for reaching out. I was asking backstage how you connected with us. And I think it's just wonderful that we are connecting one by one with different people so that we can all get our stories out there and hopefully bring cohesion and peace to the world.
Unity, understanding, and all those wonderful things that makes, humanity what it really is.
Absolutely. I want to start off with the fact London is such a special place to me because it is really so diverse, and people are from all walks of life working together, collaborating together. There's no strife, it seems, whereas in other parts of the world, there really seems to be a lot more differences and strife. So tell us, how and when did you decide to start your show? And did you pick London specifically because that's where you live?
Okay, so I've always lived in the UK. I was born in the UK. My parents were from Barbados, so I'm of Barbadian parentage in the Caribbean. But the show came about quite a while ago. I remember, I think I might have been in my mid-30s, and I won an award. I remember, winning an award to create a platform, a media platform that was to empower and in those in the BAME community, so the Black and minority ethnic community. And I chose to create a website at the time that targeted women from a Caribbean background about their successes and their achievements. It was called Caribbean Women in the Community. And so from there, I realized actually I wanted to do more in the media field. So I created, from that award, I created a website and where I captured incredible voices. And then I also remember I had a book that I had written at the time, and I had contacted a couple of radio stations to get some publicity. And one of the radio stations at the time was so impressed with my profile and my tenacity that they said, rather than just interviewing you for your book, why don't you actually come on and take a show? And I was like, okay, because I'm a Sagittarian, I'm an adventurous Sagittarian. And I thought, I'm going to jump into this. And for I always remember my first guest was Rachel Elnar from Dragon's Den at the time. And I had no formal training or anything. And I always remember the producer of the show said at the time, they said, we knew that you were ambitious because you've never done radio before, but for your first guest, you chose Rachel Elnar from Dragon's Den. And, then from then I sort of was working, on different radio stations. Then I tried to set up my own, and I've just kept going since then. And that's how it all started. And I love what I do. I love talking to people, but more so capturing their authentic voices. And it's often a place where it feels as if I'm sitting either at the feet of my elders or just around the family dining table, having these incredible conversations, lots of giggles, lots of laughter, but also it allows others to just share authentically who they are.
What an incredible story. Thank you for sharing that with us, Esther. It's interesting. I started out on the radio too. So I would like to just have people realize that if you do something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, it can have a huge upside for you. And Absolutely. So you chose a guest who would be somebody who's very experienced, very successful. What were one or two takeaways that you took from that interview?
I can't remember too much about that, but I guess the takeaway for me was like, if you go after something, it's like putting one foot in front of the other. Or they say, how do you eat an elephant? And it says bit by bit. And so for me, that was the trajectory to say, okay, I've managed to get her. I went after her. She accepted my request. We had a phenomenal conversation. So what next? And, I've been climbing ever since.
Have you found, Esther, in your role as an interviewer, that most people, or some large percent of people who are successful, are very open to mentoring, and they're very open to coaching other people and helping them rise as well?
They are, because they share, because on the show, even though oftentimes it's about music and entertainment, there's been a journey around that. And because of their own personal journeys, they realize the importance of having someone there who can stand by your side, someone that can speak, that you can talk to. So it may not be mentor in the way we know, but just having someone there who you can be vulnerable to and authentic, because in the industry, oftentimes you've got to mask up and cloak up, but to be in a space where you feel, oh my gosh, I can be silly around this person, I can cry around this person, I can be vulnerable. That's kind of powerful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's take a look at your banner here. Award-winning British TV show, talk show host, TV producer, motivational speaker, publisher. You're a fashionista. You have your own show. And I want to focus on this because I remember years ago when I started this, people told me that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted because I was doing too many things. So how are you able to do all of these things and do them so well so the naysayers out there can understand it is possible?
For me, I've never been in a box. I'm one of those souls that I've never been in the sort of societal box. So, and understanding that all these different aspects of me, I see that they feed into the bigger aspect of me. And even though I do all these things, the fundamental thread is to inspire, empower, and impact on others, to say you can do this too. And so oftentimes things just open up organically from one thing that you're doing. So obviously being an award-winning talk show host, the speaking, the motivational speaking is just, for me, an organic part of that, and an organic evolution of that. And also the TV producer, that's something I'm evolving into, actually. I guess I put that out there and now it's happening. But then it's just taking those interviews that I've done and evolving those into documentaries. So I just see it as a progressive evolution, whereas other people tend to put them in these little boxes. Well, that's that, and that's that, and that's that. And for the fashion, it's, I mean, you got to wear clothes, right? So for me, the fashion also is part of the message of standing in your authentic purpose, standing in your individuality. I've never followed trends in terms of dressing. And I very much believe in holding on to my own individuality. My clothes wear me. It's my soul wearing my clothes, and it's my identity as well. So I just see it all. It's just like us having this spider's body, and it's got all these legs, and it just organically feeds into that.
That's a great analogy about the spider. Thank you. And I love what you're wearing, by the way. Love the glasses with the green. I love how you put it all together.
Thank
Now,
you.
are you dressing? You mentioned you're dressing for yourself. It's your branding. It's the first thing people see, right? You're the front line of your business. You're the front line of what you represent. So how do you find what it is that fits in with your branding? So in other words, sometimes people go to a closet and they just pull out whatever it is. I know that's not me. I always have it's certain things together, and you are very well put out. The way you're dressed, you look great. So how do you make these decisions and keep them in alignment with what is important to you and your branding?
It's once again, it's one of those sort of intuitive, organic things. I just go to the wardrobe and I instinctively know what's going to drop. And oftentimes, they said if it doesn't flow, don't go. So if it doesn't feel right, I mean, I went out to afternoon tea last week, and I literally pulled everything out the wardrobe. I was like, nope, 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 nope. Because I've grown quite a lot within myself. I no longer resonate with a lot of what's in my wardrobe. So I'm about to sort of throw the whole thing away. But oftentimes there's just a sense of knowing. So if I go into a shop, I don't have to spend hours in there. I can just go through a couple of racks, and then it's almost like, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, you get that feeling that, okay, we're connected. This is working out well. But I love what you just shared, that you have, and this applies to life. You have looked at the wardrobe. Now you're thinking it's really not resonating with me anymore. And yet in life, there are certain situations, certain people, relationships that as time goes on, they don't resonate with us either. But we hold on dearly for dear life because we're afraid to step out into our own without whatever these comforts have been, or these relationships that are now, they no longer serve.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's interesting we're having this conversation because last week I had an experience. So, there's somebody at the door. Last week for a couple of months, I haven't been feeling well. It was just, I had a pain in my stomach, and I was trying to manage it with what I ate, what I didn't eat, is it gluten, or was it the dairy? And I went out to afternoon tea last Tuesday and I passed out because this pain got so bad. I just passed out for quite a few seconds, and I didn't realize I passed out, and they had to call the ambulance and take me away and do loads of checks and everything. And I've just found out what it was that created it. It was a cyst that burst on my left kidney, and that was what caused the pain. But I saw that experience as releasing. I saw that experience as letting go of a lot of things that no longer served me. I saw that as an experience of giving me time to step back from the business of life and to really look at what was going on in my world, and to just adjust a little bit, and to know it was okay to release, let go, because this is a new pathway for me. It's a new pathway that I'm going down now, a new Esther. And also it gave me the chance to look at what I'm doing in my business and to be more succinct, to be more strategized and structured. And yes, I feel that answers, the question that you've just asked.
Yes, it absolutely does. And thank you for your honesty and your candor about that. I'm sorry that you went through that, and I can only imagine how painful that would be. What I love is how you turned it into a positive, whereas other people might be like, oh, this and that. And, you're looking at it like, wow, this is a time to reflect and reset. How are you doing now? How do you feel?
I'm good. I mean, I got the results back, and they said, what they found, and I can just share because somebody else might be, on my left kidney, there was some cysts, but it was the cyst that burst that had created the pain. And then on the right hand side, they discovered on my liver, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a growth, but it's benign, but they're going to monitor that. But the thing is, if the cyst hadn't burst, they would not have discovered what was on the right hand side. And, you know, looking at it sort of holistically, spiritually, a lot of that is about releasing, letting go. And anytime I've gone through some things, and I've been through some major stuff, I really should have gray hairs. But what I've done, I've always gone within myself and said, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to process this? And this is just me. It's no judgment to anybody else, but I can't allow myself to go into those moments of, oh, why me? Because if you go there, oftentimes it takes you down, and sometimes it's hard to catch yourself until you hit rock bottom. And so because I'm aware of that, I always go into a place of prayer and meditation because it keeps me calm, and also it helps me manage and cope what I'm going through.
I really respect and appreciate what you shared. And it's interesting because I've heard similar things from people. They had some kind of horrible pain, and when the doctors did their test, they found it was something completely unrelated was also going on in the body. And had it not been for the first thing as a catalyst, they wouldn't have found the second thing.
Absolutely.
So I think for anybody out there listening, if you are in some kind of pain, go and have it looked at, because there might be something else going on.
Absolutely.
So just last week, you were in an ambulance going through all of this, and here you are today looking gorgeous and sounding phenomenal. So it's the power of persistence, and it's also mindset. I want to talk about how you keep a positive mindset, and then let's talk about your award-winning TV show.
Okay, so how I keep positive, or how I keep a certain mindset. Sometimes I take deep dives into getting into my head, but what I've learned over the years in some of the places that I've been, I've been on my knees many, many times, but what helps me to rise and what helps me to give me some sort of balance is firstly, knowing that I've got to get up. And what do I need to do? Because I've got boys as well. I mean, they're big men now, but when you've got children, there's something in you that drives you to say, okay, what do I need to do? Who do I need to become? And to look at yourself. And what helps me manage some of those crazy moments, because I've had some majorly crazy moments, is I'll exercise, because exercise has been my go-to place. Whether that's walking, whether that's just dancing or pulling out my weights, and then just going through a process of, what does this mean? What do I need to do? And I've got one or two people around me that I trust, some authentic friends who can pull me up, but also will listen to me. And they're not going to tell me what I need to hear, because I've often told them, don't tell me what you think I need to hear. Tell me the truth, because once you tell me the truth, then I can work on it and through it. And for me, there's something about telling me the truth, because oftentimes we may want others to tell us what we want them to, but also energetically, if we are not honest with what we need to hear, the results will show up in our lives. Does that make sense? So that's my process. And also my TV show, that's evolving. So the podcast that I've got is on YouTube. I often stream to Facebook, and then because of the platform I'm on at the moment, Zoom, I will put my shows onto YouTube and then chop them up and put them all over. But in terms of the TV, I do want to evolve into doing shows and more and documentaries, because there's so many incredible artists that really want to tell their story on a bigger platform and on a bigger space.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on all your success with that On the Sofa with Esther. I love it. And your guests that you interview, are they people who find you, or you and your team reach out and find them? How does it work if somebody's out there thinking, I'd love to be on her show?
Both ways. So what's happening now, because my brand is out there and people know what I do. So basically the Sunday show is On the Sofa with Esther, where legends and stars hang out, and we're all legends and stars. But I predominantly interview people from music, entertainment, and film on that show, and also upcoming artists. And then on Tuesdays, there's On the Sofa with Esther, Tuesdays Words of Wisdom, where I dive into well-being, healing, emotional intelligence, but offering solutions. So people come on the show and they talk about their vulnerabilities. They talk about things that they've gone through. I've interviewed someone who was married to a narcissist, and that was a very profound show. Then I interviewed a gentleman who wrote a book for women, encouraging them to giving them the steps of what happens if you are followed. And so I've interviewed lots of incredible people who talk about their pain, and then they discuss how they came through it and what they're doing still to come through it.
Thank you for sharing that, Esther. You know what I find? You and I have a lot of things in common. When you're speaking, I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy that the universe brought us together. But what I want to ask you about is, I was asked at a conference on a panel, I was asked about women and girls and the power of media, and how with, searching for gender equality for women and girls, how we can get more women and girls involved in the media. So obviously you're in London, I'm in the United States. We're in places where we have access to clean water, and we have the ability to start our own businesses and do what we're doing today, be on the airways, but it's not like that everywhere in the world. And so I know, as part of a collective, we want to give women a voice. We want to give young girls the training and mentoring that they need so that they feel confident in sharing their voice. What are some tips that you can give to empower? You're a motivational speaker, and I know that you have a very strong and blessed heart. What would you say out there to maybe some young women who are watching from another country, or women who feel that they can't get ahead, that it's a man's world? Any tips based on what you do that you could share?
I would say just dream, hold on to the dream, no matter how difficult it is, because no one can get into here. I mean, they can do it in a certain reason, but this is your goad, and this is your goad. And I remember some years ago reading a book, I can't remember the title of it, but it was where some nuns had been imprisoned. Some nuns had been imprisoned, and they were trying to cross over the Himalayan mountain to Tibet. And they went through the most extreme torture. And yet there was something in their belief about not allowing someone to take away their dignity. And I would say to anybody who's in a position of some sort of oppression, or where they feel they don't have the resources or the space, or just being acknowledged as women, to dream, hold on to the dream, because no one can take away what you dream. No one can take away what's in your heart. They can strip away everything else, but that dream is what's going to sustain you. And whatever you can do, little by little, we've seen, even we look at Anne Frank, and, being cooped up for so long in a space, but she wrote a diary. So find whatever you will find. Your intuition, your soul will guide you to supporting you in creating something out of nothing. And whether that's you store the dreams in your head, or you write a diary and you hide that. But that's what I would say. And in the moments when things get really dark, then you can turn to something, and it might not seem a lot or much, but it's still something, because you've put that dream into action. And when you put things out to the universe or the ancestors, they will hear it.
I couldn't have said it any better. That's amazing. And also, we had a show earlier this morning about dreams, and you were just talking about that. So what I want us to have just a little conversation about when it comes to dreams is, when you have that passion inside you that you want to accomplish something, but you don't know how to do it, you don't have to. There's plenty of resources. And as we were saying earlier, there are people, you would help someone, I would help someone. There are people all over the world who are happy to help and volunteer and mentor. You just have to ask. So I think having the dream, and then having the wherewithal to do what needs to be done, to take the steps, because sometimes people are dreamers, but they don't actually want to do anything to achieve the dream. They think somehow mysteriously just going to show up. So when you started, I don't know if you have more than one business, but as an entrepreneur, when you started your business, What kind of challenges did you have to face? Maybe one or two, and what did you do about it?
So the challenges that I faced starting out was, and I'm going to admit that, you know, I don't have a degree to my name, and it's not, I'm not saying this as you know, to say I'm showing my gun, but what I have behind me is tenacity. What I have is life experiences. What I have are my dreams. What I have is, I would say, divine inspiration that has guided me. And for a lot of what I've done, I remember growing up, my late sister, she had degrees and, you know, O levels and A levels, and I had CSEs because in school I was bored. I got bored in school. I always remember a lot of family members would say, they would compare me to my sister. Your sister's got degrees and things and you ain't going to be nothing. But in my heart, I knew I was going to be someone pivotal in this world. And so I guess I started using my life's experiences and creativity. I mean, creativity is a wonderful gong to hold, isn't it? Because creativity means that you can tap into so many different aspects of yourself and create something out of that. So that's where I've come from. And so I would say it was a lot of the naysayers, and also being, and I say this in inverted brackets because we can all feel that we're different, but being different, where I spent a lot of time on my own. I was in my own world. I said I used to dream and dance with the fairies in my own space and world. Some people will get that, some people won't. But just knowing that there was something more in me, and a lot of it was to inspire and empower people, because I'm also an empath. So I used to feel people's pain. So I used to write poetry about all these emotional things. And I remember at work, I used to get bored easily at work. And so I'd write poetry, or I'd write emails about my journey into work. And people would say, wow, that was really powerful. Or sometimes it was comedy. You know, I would turn it into comedy, or I would turn it into something inspirational. So that's how I started my journey, being bored witless in literally all my jobs. And people would say, but you don't belong here. We can just sense that you don't belong here. And I said, I know, it's just about timing. And so that's what got me into doing what I do now. A lot of tenacity, but also my passion to reach out and touch lives has come from a lot of my life's experiences. And to be able to maintain sanity in a lot of those experiences. You know, I was married for 14 years, many moons ago, but that was my biggest lesson. God, I had to grow up quickly in that. And I had to, for me, that was a matter of holding on to my sanity and my identity in that. So that's, I guess that's the sort of start of this journey. And it probably started when I was younger as well. Just seeing the world through different eyes and thinking, sitting in church and observing, it's like, oh, how does this make sense? This doesn't quite make sense. How come people are so mean? Why are you so mean? Yeah. So that's where it all started, I guess.
Thanks for sharing that. And you brought up a very powerful point, which is you don't have to have a degree. And even if you have a degree, what are you doing with it? Are you actually impacting lives with what you've learned? Or are you just going around saying, yeah, I have this degree and that degree? Yeah. So for anyone out there who doesn't have a degree, that doesn't mean that you can't do great things in this world and you can't help other people. Absolutely not. Yeah. Esther, we are going to take a short break. And we will be back, and then we're going to go over to your website and walk through there and share with people how you can help them and who you can help.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
All right, welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. What you see on the screen is a QR code on the right-hand side. You can take out your smartphone and go ahead and scan it, and you can automatically subscribe to one of our channels. We'd love to have you. Okay, we're back here on Creating a World of Possibilities. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. We have a very special guest who is an award-winning British TV talk show host, also an author, I found out, a fashionista, a publisher, and a motivational speaker. Let's welcome back Esther Austin to the program.
Hello.
Hello. Well, I've learned several things that I really wasn't too clear on in terms of just moving forward with persistence, but yet at the same time, releasing what happened to you in your health with your kidney, releasing toxins, toxic people, toxic situations, even with our health situation, taking control of it so that we can move forward and not being in a place of fear. So let's talk about the work that you do and how you can help our audience. I'm sure there are people out there thinking, wow, what can I do to connect with her? And what can she do to help me? What is your role there?
Okay, so there are different strands. There, I wear different hats. So one of them is when legends and pioneers, when they tour, I do something called bespoke. I'll hold these incredible bespoke noon tea events, and it just allows these wonderful people to sit down, relax, and just be with Esther Austin for about 2 to 2.5 hours, where they can just relax, enjoy British afternoon tea, and often share how they really feel. And a lot of those conversations are kept within that confine. I will ask them if they want to share, if I can share maybe images from that. But once again, this is just allowing them to be their authentic selves. And I also do that with members of the public. On a bigger level, I also have something called the art of conversation over afternoon tea, where, people come together and they share afternoon tea, but they can talk, because people were saying, especially after COVID, we want to talk, we want to share in a safe space, but where you have fun as well. You've seen Shalimar, the 3 Degrees, Denise Williams. These are all wonderful artists who've had those experiences. So those are two of the experiences that I offer. And also on a personal one-to-one level, I'm also an intuitive healer. So I do a lot of these things around afternoon tea or distant healing one-to-ones. And it's very much around allowing someone who is reaching out, needing some place to go, trying to find direction. And so what I do intuitively, I support them in understanding what they're going through, and then giving tools and tips about what they can do about that. And a lot of that sort of inspiration comes through the talks, the speaking engagements that I do, and the events that I host. So those are predominantly the services that I offer. And because I guess I'm quite creative in terms of how I present my services. A lot of them so sometimes we don't need to sit in a therapy office, or we don't need to sit via Zoom for me to do these intuitive holistic things. If we're in the same town, we can go to the park, because I like to be creative with how I interact with the people that I work with. I do a lot of things via Zoom as well. And I do workshops. Like I said, I do speaking engagements and seminars. So I think that's it in a nutshell at the moment.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. There's obviously a lot that you have to offer our audience. I love the way you put tea as the focal point, because it denotes peace, calm, tranquility, and socialization. Just talk a little bit more about the whole purpose of the tea.
So afternoon tea, and we know that the Americans love British afternoon tea, because it's for me, it's a place where it's a place of nostalgia. Yes, there is a history behind afternoon tea, but also I thought it would be nice to set this up because it's where people can come and feel special. There's something about having afternoon tea, you know, the little sandwiches and the little cakes. It's this place of novelty as well. So you've got nostalgia, you've got novelty, and bringing people together, which also creates laughter. And I mean, as you saw from the images that you just showed, I did an afternoon tea with the legendary group Shalimar, and they shared that this was the first time. They've been around for over 20 years. They've performed together, but they said, you know, in their time, they had never attended something outside of performing together. They, you know, after the show, they go their own separate ways, and they were all sitting there together. We giggled, we do a lot of laughing and giggling, because also there's healing in not just acknowledging each other through conversation and sharing, but also in laughing, and just people just feel they can be themselves. And that's what's so important about these afternoon tea events. I was in the States 2 years ago, and I did an event in Vegas at a lovely tea room there, and you know, but they had the hats, and so there was this novelty thing of putting on the hats, and they had a British telephone, and it was just so nice, but also really quaint. So there's lots of things going on in there. It's bringing people together, it's allowing people to share, because when you're having this experience, nostalgic experience and novel experience, it just means people can relax and just be themselves for 2.5 hours.
That is truly a gift to feel that you are appreciated and you're heard. And
Absolutely.
over some beautiful tea, maybe some small sandwiches. I love that too. With the sandwiches, are so good. So where are you taking Esther Austin Global from here? What is your dream that you're looking to fulfill in the future?
My dream, and it's interesting because what happened last week has sort of cemented the look at that dream. I'm not going to say everything, but one of the things that I will be bringing out is a documentary short about myself, because people are saying, we know what you do, we see what you do, but we want to understand more about who you are. And I guess that would give them an insight into how I tick. So I'm currently working on that. And the bigger version is I want my own TV show. I want my own, you know, major platform, and, you know, to be conducting more speaking engagements globally, and to really be creating a global movement of change to say, yes, you can. You know, you spoke earlier about women, encouraging women in countries where they might not have these opportunities. But even women just generally who may be locked in some form of oppressive relationship or situation, to say that dreaming in those situations is so important, especially when you feel that your soul has been stripped away, and, you know, every day someone is chipping away at your personal identity. And I just want to just keep doing shows around this to inspire. So I guess I'm babbling a bit. And even for the fashion range that I want to bring out, called the Funky Butterfly, it's for the woman who's searching for herself. It's for the woman who wants to know who she is. It's for the woman who wants to hold on to her individuality and not get caught up in trends and following others. And that's what's so important. So in a nutshell, that's where I'm going to have a bigger platform, and to be doing more speaking engagements and seminars, and really reaching out and also having fun, because I love to have fun. I love to dance. I do a lot of dancing at my speaking engagements, my seminars. We dance, and it's so liberating.
The universe has brought us together for a reason. That is absolutely so clear to me. We would love to have you as one of our TV show hosts here at USA Global TV and Radio, so I'll reach back out to you. But I love everything that you just shared about your dreams, because they are going to be your next realities. Yeah. And it will be a pleasure to watch you go from the dream to the reality. Esther, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you, and who would you like to contact you?
Well, I would say if this resonates with you, if I resonate with you, because, we don't always resonate with everyone, but if I resonate with you, if my story resonates with you, if my process resonates with you, then you can contact me at esther@esteraustinglobal.biz, or you go onto my website and you can always track me from there. So connect with me. Let me know. And also, if you've got a story, because the summer issue of my magazine's coming out at the end of June, TurningPoint Music and Lifestyle, where I capture those voices. But also with the lifestyle part is to simply say, go out and have fun, try something different, step outside your box.
We have a TV show host who is in Europe. He's actually in Vienna right now, I think. And he always says, there is no box. So take that box and throw it away and just follow your passion and your heart. Connect with Esther, connect with me, connect with people who really, truly do care and want to help. Absolutely. Esther, it's an absolute pleasure. I hope you'll come back on some of our other shows, and I'd love to have a chat with you after the show's over if you want to hang out.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. I really, really enjoyed this. I really have. Thank you for your energy. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing as well. Very powerful. Very powerful.
Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful smile and your beautiful presence. I really appreciate it. It's amazing how these things happen and people are brought together. So
I'm looking forward to indulging you in British afternoon tea experience.
Next month. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll talk to you in a couple of minutes here. Take care. Bye. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. Let's put up Esther's contact details again. For those people who cannot see the banner because you're listening on a podcast-only platform, the email address to contact Esther directly is Esther, ESTHER, at ESTHERAUSTIN, Esther Austin Global, GLOBAL.biz, BIZ. All right, we are moving on to our next show, which is a woman's prerogative. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, please remember, keep dreaming and make your dreams a reality, regardless of what anyone tells you. You can do it. Empower yourself. Find the tools that you need to get to where you want to go. We'll be right back with our next program. Stay tuned.
What if one simple skill could change the way you connect with the world? What if listening could open doors to deeper relationships, stronger businesses, and a better you? Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the listening mentor, brings you USA Global TV and Radio, a space where voices are heard, ideas are shared, and global communities thrive. Through the elevated listeners' courses and books, you'll master the power of listening, set boundaries with confidence, and transform conversations into opportunities. Join us. Listen, learn, elevate. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a business owner, or someone seeking stronger connections, your journey starts today. Subscribe, learn, and transform today.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. produced by executive producer and director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.